Going live. Now we have to go back here and hit go live. Let's see this. Yes. Hi, everybody. Oh, that's okay. Let's see. Come on. Tom Caldabiano here on a Sunday, going live. And who else? So what happens, Ken? There we go. So because it's that vertical frame, Matt, our camera /DP/ ruin his Sunday.
You know, you have a cord.
Oh yeah, I need that cord. Let me see. For optics.
I thought it was a necklace.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Wow, I'm leaning forward. This is out of frame. Tom Caldabiano here. Sitting next to me is Ken Ornstein. I call him Kenneth Ornstein because that is his name.
It's true.
Hopefully the audio is good. Let's say hi. So here's our fans, Ken.
Hello, fans.
So, well, here, I'm pulling them up.
Clearly not football fans.
Hi, Tom. Hi, everybody. Didn't start. Okay, snow. So snow is a big story in the country today,
Yes,
as you
it
know.
is, yes.
We're going to find out more about, because what is your team even? Are you a Patriots fan?
No, Giants.
Okay, Giants. That's what I thought. Because you
Yeah.
would wear a New York hat occasionally, right? A Yankee hat occasionally?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
That's true.
On the set. Okay, we're going to have you, let's say some hellos before we get out of the way, before we get them out of the way, before we're rude to people. Hi, everyone. How are your eyes, Ken?
Cover my eyes.
Hi, Tom from Great Falls, Montana. Hello, Ken. People saying Ken. Okay, Ken knows a lot. Hi, Lynn Van Orden. Maybe aloha. Bob is in Hawaii, hence the aloha.
Hence the aloha.
Yep. Okay, I see. Hopefully I'm sounding
I'm glad you
good.
explained that.
I'm a little hot. Okay, let's do this. No, that wasn't a compliment. Is that might be better? Okay. Here we go. Aloha, everybody. Bob, one of our trusted from the beginning people. Now, Annabelle attended a bunch of Ever's Raymond episodes, including the finale, and she might be the only non-cast member to hold the canister during the filming.
Well, then she'll especially appreciate.
Your stories?
Yeah.
Okay. Donnell, hi. Hope everyone's staying warm. Yes. Donnell's in Texas, and also, when I have a question, Donnell can tell what episode it is based on the toys on the couch.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's phenomenally good. Phenomenally good. All these people. Montreal, hello, yes. Scrolling down.
Bonjour.
Phil.
In Montreal.
Showing off, Ken, some of your multilingual things. Okay. Watching the game, Patriots winning now. Do we spoil it?
No, I'm taping it. I don't want to know.
Don't spoil it.
Nope.
Okay, he didn't even know who was playing today. Foot of snow in Phillipsburg, New Jersey. Very good. Thanks for joining us, Lynn. So let's go back. Tom, I'm the white bunny lady. Now, that sounds crazy unless you know the show. So apparently, set dressing had placed a white bunny in the background of almost every episode of Raymond. Yeah. By the way, do you like this discovery? And by the way, for folks watching on Instagram, I'm not going to apologize to you because come over to Facebook where it's easier. But Matt is trying to swing back and forth. So when Ken goes on a nice long explanation, because don't worry, I'll let him talk. Then the camera will swing to Ken and it'll land on Ken. By the way, I had Patty here, not here, when we did it at my other location, and I go, Patty, let's do an Instagram Live. And she goes, okay, I'm going to come to you. I go, no, let's just do it from your house. No, I want to come to you. Okay. So that was the first time, and we had to sit like this, like shoulder, which I don't mind with Patty. But it was really, and it was a great interview, but it's an hour and 20 minutes. So a lot of the comments were, let her talk. Why aren't you letting her talk? And I'm like, well, I do have to ask the questions. So, all right, final hellos. Hi, Diane. That might or might not be my sister who has 10 inches of snow. Yeah, so we're lucky that we don't have anything. Mona says bonjour back. So I think that's flirting. I think your wife is going to have to hear about that. Okay.
C'est bon.
All right, hopefully I'm sounding good. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody loves Raymond. We're talking to Kenneth Ornstein, who was the official title. Your official title is?
Producer, unit production manager.
Okay. So for the novice, because what I try not to do, we walk the line between really explaining a lot and getting too inside baseball.
Right.
And so I try and frame everything. So Ken, you came on season 3?
Yes.
Okay. So Ken, what he would do, and you can explain it all, but just for people, there's a very distinct line on shows. There's like, I want to try and not use the jargon to explain it, but we are the writers and we write stuff, and then there's the cast, and then there's the people who have to make it all happen. Make sure the cameramen are good, make sure that this is good, make sure that if something might crash through the wall, that they can pull that off. How much money does that cost, and is it even possible? That falls on the lap of Ken. So, Ken, just tell us, for your, like a daily thing that you would do on Raymond.
Well, yeah, in terms of the chain of command, obviously there was Phil, and then there was Lisa Jackson, who was my immediate boss. She was also a non-writing producer, so we didn't write the shows, we just, as Tom said, put them together physically. But we would get a script or an outline, and we would read it and go, okay, they want it to be snowing. So then we would talk to the writers. Do we want it snowing in every scene? What windows do we need to see the snow out? And then they'd say, oh, just this one and that one. And then we would contact special effects, and then we would have them, rig it and be ready for show night. It could be any number of things. How many extras you want in Nemo's Pizza, or all these kind of things.
So let me ask you this just for people at home. It took a week to make a whole episode, right? A week from beginning to end. However, we would finish the scripts ahead of time, and the cast would get the script after they finished filming an episode, because what Phil didn't want is them to be distracted. So by a script, so they see it 2 weeks ahead and someone goes, Phil, I really wish I had more lines in this one, or why isn't this character arc, etc. So it's the opposite with Ken and Lisa, because they have to plan stuff. So I want to know, when you would get the script for the first time, would you and Lisa read them together in the same room? Would you just get them at your office and peruse them when you got around to it?
No, and quite often we would get outlines before scripts, just so we could see what the sets were, any special effects or special makeup or costumes. And then after the outline, we would also get a script. But the outlines gave us the opportunity to say to Phil, okay, you want Ray in a gorilla suit? All right, let's get some pictures of a gorilla suit. Let's pick one gorilla suit. Or you want the car to drive through the living room? Okay, that obviously was an extreme example, but the more time we had to prep, the better we could make it. There's an expression in Hollywood, you've probably heard it. You can get it fast, you can get it good, and you can get it cheap, but you can only pick two. So if you want it good and cheap, it ain't gonna be fast. If you want it good and fast, it ain't gonna be cheap, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So,
So I would say this, from our experience in the writer's room, sometimes Phil knew we had an idea, and he would go, hey, can you call Lisa Helfrich and have her come down here? And I guess you would come occasionally too, where it'd be like, so what we knew was happening is Phil goes, hey, minor thing, car has to crash through the wall and we have to rebuild it in 20 minutes in front of the live studio audience, okay? Hey, good luck with that. So what Phil will, out of courtesy, because he knows, like, hey, we're about to drop this big piece of information. We need an outdoor scene. It's a proposal, police cars, also snowing on the back lot. We need to do it at night also. So is that going to blow the budget? Is that even doable? All these things. We need Robert to be chased by a bull. So can you guys, so those are things where Phil would often call Lisa Helfrich, because he knew that if so Phil couldn't be this like you with your parents and don't tell them that you broke the vase and they'll find out. Phil couldn't be like, I'm going to send them the outline and go home for the day and let smoke come out of their ears. So was there ever a time when you and Lisa are sitting there going, the idea is to say yes and not disappoint Phil. You're not there to go, can't be done, Phil, like to help you out.
Yeah, I mean, as a producer, people go, "Oh, you're the guy that says no," and we would say, "No, no, no. We're the guys or women who say, all right, let's figure this out. How are we going to pull this off in the amount of time that we have?" And sometimes the answer was, "We can't shoot this for another 3 weeks. We're going to need 3 weeks to set this up." Okay, then we'll move the pieces around. I'm laughing because I remember it wasn't so much Lisa and I that were worried about the bull chasing Brad. It was
Brad.
it was Brad. I think I remember seeing his face when they told him that, or he was so scared. I mean, that was not acting. That was.
Yeah, so that, for those of you that, all these people are fans of the show, so there's no, when Ray we did a watch party with Ray, and he's like, "Do they know that?" I'm like, "Ray, they know the show better than you, because you haven't been watching it every day for the past 20 years. But for Brad, Brad's not an athletic guy, and Brad would be the first to admit it, because I was an extra not an extra, I had a line in Captain Nemo, season 1. And I was supposed to throw the ball to Brad in this moment, right? And so Ray, I became really good friends with Ray playing softball. We were the outfield of the improv softball team in New York, and for his brother's team, Nemo's, in New York. So we're both very good athletes. So I'm throwing it to Brad. I'm not even thinking. I'm just throwing it to Brad. So Robert it is my line. And Brad goes, "Tommy, you got to take it easy with those throws." He's like, I can't, I'm not and I was like, okay. So then the bull, Brad is not a runner. He is not a runner. And guess what skill he needs to really be good at is not get gored in real life by the bull. So let me go to some comments here before we get too far away. Because what happens is there's 50 comments here. I'm going to take a little. By the way, it's such a pleasure to have somebody in the room with me, because I usually am monologuing for an hour. So, but even then, I'm going to take a.
You've been very lonely for a long time.
Well, that is very true. Absolutely true. All right, let me scroll. Holy moly! So let me scroll to the bottom. See, let me bring up these last ones. Where did Tom tell us about Ray and Live? Where did Tom tell us about Ray and Live? I missed these announcements somehow. Okay, that was a while ago. Ken, do you estimate the cost of a particular scene, or is there a formula or guideline that is used?
Yes, there is a formula guideline. We work on a budget before the season starts, and that becomes our pattern budget. So every episode is supposed to cost X amount of dollars. But throughout a season, we know that some episodes are going to be more expensive than others. So when Phil writes an episode and the aliens land and Ray and Deborah are abducted, okay, that's going to cost a little more than the usual episode. So the next week or the next 2 episodes, let's just keep it simple. And it's just a balancing act. And as long as we kept the studio informed who was paying for it, don't freak out. This episode's going to be $300,000 over budget, but we've already discussed with Phil, and we'll be fine.
So it's a pool of money, and if you know that 90% of the times it's either Frank and Marie's or Ray and Deborah's, and then every once in a while we might go to Italy, then you go, okay, it's a kind of take a little from here, and this one is.
Well, Italy was an exception because obviously we needed. I think we needed close to $900,000 for the whole thing, and CBS begrudgingly gave us the money, even though we were hit by that point.
Season 5.
They were printing money and they were giving us a hard time.
Well, the network. Sorry, just because some people are picking themselves off the ground to go $900,000 on top of the normal production.
Yeah.
Yeah. So an extra 900. So when someone has now, who makes that call to CBS to say, hey, I need 900, and they're like, $900? You got it, Ken. No, $900,000 extra.
I think Lisa and I budgeted out with the help from our friends at HBO, who are also producing partner, because they had shot Sopranos in Italy for some episodes. So we had some information to call from them. And so we told Phil, and then I think maybe he called Les. I don't know how that.
The president, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that worked.
So there is something, when you're a hit show, what Ken was saying is, when you're a hit show that the network is making $1 billion, but the network doesn't go, we're making $1 billion. Ken, don't even make the call. Just spend the money. It's still going to be like, hey, I noticed your food budget. You guys, you're using some top-end bologna on the shoot, aren't you? And you're like, oh, yeah, sorry about that. So they never, it's a business. So it's not like they're mean people. They're just like, we're accounting. So because for every Ever's Raymond, there's 20 shows that they spend $1 million on that fail. So they have to cover their losses. So it's not, so I'm glad to know, it's good to know, but just for the people, when Ken says, because this happens a lot, I'll post a picture of the great Deborah, Fun with Deborah, where they play golf, and they go, wow, you recreated it on the scene. It would have been so much easier just to go to a golf course. But, Ken's laugh tells you, here's what you don't know as a normal person. You now have to have the crew. You have to have trailers. You're on location. You lose a day of filming at the soundstage. So even though from the outside, for me too, I go, why did we have to recreate? Couldn't we just go to the Encino golf course? Like, sure, you can. On the surface, it seems logical, but when it comes down to brass tacks, to move the whole production is incredible amount of money.
Yeah, well, especially at a multi-camera show. If you were a single camera show like Modern Family or et cetera, they would go on location because they already had the infrastructure built in. We didn't. We were a studio show. It was a big deal when we went to the back lot. Some people would freak out. Oh my God, we're going to the back lot. But
the back lot, folks, is just a different part of Warner Brothers. So everything we shot from season 2 on was on stage 5. So when Ken says when we went to the back lot, when Robert gets chased by the bull, that's the back lot. That's the New York City street. Which let me catch up on some questions here. I want to ask about snow, since we're talking about so much snow. Okay, let me scroll back up. Let me see. I actually have to. Here, let's just pick people we trust. Ryan Shade, I'm in much okay. Answering. See, these are back and forth. Hi, Deb. Patricia Heaton was pregnant during some of the seasons. What was the most creative, ridiculous way the production team had to hide her baby bump? Okay, so that was season 1 and 3. We can answer that. Karen, okay, let me see, catching up. So I'm racing past some where they're having their own conversation, looking for questions. Tom, you started to ask Ken about the white bunny and then got distracted with no answer. Does Ken recollect anything about it? Bunny placement, seasons 1 through 6. So Ken, this is news to Ken.
It's vaguely I remember Dan DuPont, our lead man set decorator, mentioned something, and probably at some point I was mildly interested in where the bunny is, but I usually had other things I had to think about, so I forgot all about it.
So, I'm going to second what Ken said, because when we did the 30-year reunion, Eric Pinkowski was saying, or maybe someone else was telling me on that production, they said, the white bunny, they hid the white bunny, and I go, that's been a question from you guys for years. And so I know that, Donna Stamps and Dan DuPont also, it was something that they did. Phil had no clue. Tom had no clue. Nobody even noticed it. And as Phil used to say in the room, he'd say like, hey, if they're paying attention to the background of our set, we have the most boring show on the planet. Now, this is before the invention of streaming, YouTube, where you can watch the entire season in one weekend. Well, you can in one weekend, it's too much time. But when you've watched a show, just like, Amy Janin, who worked on our show, she has looping in her office, I Love Lucy. And I'm like, okay, back in our day, it wasn't exist. You couldn't watch, a series over and over and over again. So now you guys are able to watch so many things, and we've made very few mistakes in the sets, etc. So yeah, there you go. Sorry, I wasn't avoiding the white bunny. I knew by Ken's reaction of like, oh yeah, the white bunny. He wasn't going to be like, here's the thing about the white bunny. And so don't forget, also there's different departments in the show. So set decorating is their entire own little world. So they don't hear from Ken unless something goes wrong, or something has to be, something big, and so their little, what they're doing on their own doesn't, we're it's not in our. Here's what I say, as an example, Ken. Then I want to talk about your book, etc. I have a friend who's no longer with us, but he was a double ace in World War II. He's kind of an expert in World War II, but not really, because he knew how to fly a plane and fight the Germans, right? But he didn't know what was going on in the Pacific Theater in the thing. So on Ever's Raymond, there's no human being who knew everything that was going on in the show. There just isn't.
Well, see, that's the thing. I always said I needed to know everything going on. That was going on the screen. That was important. If I didn't know what was going on, then there was something wrong. But not the detail of that. I mean, I needed to have all the answers, or knew where to get the answers. If somebody said, what's the delay, or what, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't mean to contradict you on your.
No. But you needed to know, as the producer, you're like, I need to know I need to know if there's a delay in this thing. You need to be like, so, because someone's going to go, hey, Ken, Phil's a little pissed because it took forever to do that. We need some answers. So that's what Ken is talking about. Ken was not in the writer's room. Ken was not on stage when they were building the stage. Ken was not, nor was Tom or Phil. Sometimes, someone would come in the room and go, hey, John Kunkel's not going to be in for the shoot. And Phil would go, who's John Kunkel? And we go, okay, Phil, you just be a genius writer and brilliant showrunner. You don't really have to know who your,
Exactly.
B camera operator is. So that's what I mean. So I find out so much. All right, let's get back. Sorry. So there you go. The White Bunny question. Did you ask him when you were on last time? Hello, Karen in Austin. Yes. Hi from Alpharetta, Georgia. You have an ice storm. Yeah, those are really nasty. All right, let's catch up here, Ken. Because how long was your shoot day? Yes, Joe. I'm not answering. I wonder if it's personal to Ray because he had it on the top of his golf bag in the anxiety episode. It is not personal to Ray. I can assure you that it was not, but we'll ask Ray next time he's here. Okay. How long was the shoot day? Ken, you can take this. I think, Joe, you know the answer. You're asking in general for Joe. Joe's kind of in the business and lives in L.A., but
We were so fortunate. I mean, by the last season, not only were we not working 5 days, we were working 4 days. But by the time we started the show, which I think towards the end was at 5 o'clock.
the filming started. And just
filming.
When Ken says 4 days, we, the writers, were 5 days. Ken was there 5 days.
Yeah.
The production week takes, I'm just going to shorten it and then you keep going with your answer, but to make a show is basically a week in multicam. For the most part, 5 days. By the time the end that Ken is saying, we went to 4 days. So go ahead. And then
Yeah.
shoot day.
It was so streamlined, but the crew would come in, I think 9 or 10. We would start rehearsing a little bit. We'd go to dinner at probably 3 or 4. While we were at dinner, the audience got loaded in. Ray would come out and make some comments. We'd start the show. I think pretty much if we started at 5, we were wrapping up by 7:30. It was pretty close. I mean, we used to joke we're going to get caught in rush hour on the way home, but we were very fortunate. It was a dream.
Yeah.
Some shows shoot till midnight, 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yeah, so Friends would shoot a great show, a hit show. We wish we had the money of Friends. But they would sometimes shoot 6, 7, 8, 9 hours and have 2 different audiences.
That's right.
So what Ken is referring to, that gets caught in rush hour, it's like if you said that to a normal person who has a history working on sitcoms and said, we were worried about getting caught in rush hour, they'd be like, you mean in the morning when you're going home? So it was a really well oiled machine. Okay,
Yes.
back to some questions. Why do you think the writers choose to have Pat
Oh, that's so specific.
say she only smokes because she'd otherwise have to fight Hank rather than just admitting she liked it? It's funny. It's funny that for her to have to put up with him, it just is funny that because she's such a mild-mannered human being, character end in person. Georgia Angle played that perfectly. So it's a very funny line. It's just a funny line. So yeah, there's nothing. It's not a domestic violence thing or anything like that. Yeah, that is a very specific one. Hi Tabitha. Hope everyone is yes or yes and not yes. Okay, that was more weather report. Yes. Good luck out there with the down power lines. Okay, let me see this. No, don't know if they can hear that sound of skin. Did working on ELR different from the other shows you produced? And if so, in what way? Or was it kind of processes and challenges, just a different storyline? From Annabelle.
To me.
To you, yeah, not to me. They're bored by me.
Well, yes. Raymond was special in so many ways, and the reason is because it all started from the top. Phil and Ray had a specific vision. Phil specifically not only had a figurative vision, literally he had vision, where I remember going into his office one day, and we had to build Stefania's father's apartment. And for some reason, where it was fitting on the stage, it was originally drawn where the entrance was on the left side, but we needed to put it on the right side. Mm-hmm. So I said, I said to the production, let me just go check with Phil if it's okay. Figuring, hey, Phil, can we move the door? Yeah, no problem.
Non-issue, yeah.
And he goes, don't ask me why, but it's going to be funnier if it's on the right side. And at that point, I'm like, well, this is Phil Rosenthal. I'm not going to argue with him about that.
Yeah.
So he was very specific. They had such a clear vision and command of the characters that everything flowed from there, and it just made it so easy on all of us. And everybody had families, or for the most part, and wanted to do their job and get home to their families. And during the week, the goal was to get home for dinner, and more times than not,
yeah,
they did.
I'm by the way, I'm looking at trying to get my Instagram up in here so I don't avoid those questions. But so other people I know worked on other shows where what Ken said is correct. The showrunner didn't have a family, so he would go out and have a date, and then he would come back to the writer's room after his date, and they'd start writing at 10 p.m. So Phil was of the mind that you need to have a life to write about a life. And one of the things that happens with comedians is once they get really, really, really successful, they lose touch with what happens in the real world. So that's why it was a marching order of Phil, like, let's get out of here, get into a fight with your wife. Now, I was single, so I was the kind of Robert single perspective.
You were the only single one in the room, right?
Guy.
Single guy, yeah.
Single guy, yeah. A couple of the women were single. Every woman was single. Every female writer was single.
Seasons, yeah.
Yeah. So, but that was so it wasn't like, hey, I want to get out of here. Phil wasn't like, I'm lazy, I just want to go home early. He's like, because a lot of writers would go home, from shows at 3 or 4 in the morning, and it just takes its toll. But you lose the idea, you lose that family life to get, stories, etc. So, and also, I don't want to run out of time because Ken has a much longer history, and Ken did. Are you writing a book? You finished a book? You took a book out of the library or something?
Hopefully you'll be able to take the book out of the library someday. No, I've been writing this hybrid memoir for almost 3 years, and we're getting ready to find a publisher. And I thought that a little excerpt about the last season of Raymond would be particularly interesting to
this. You think this audience cares about everyone's Raymond?
They might yes. Find it interesting.
So let's, by the way, I want to see if I don't think I can watch me live to see the comments. Let me switch over before we go to reading let's see, this is Instagram. See that feed there?
That's everybody watching?
Yep. These are, let's see if there's any comments that I've missed on Instagram or on YouTube. I don't even check on YouTube. A lot of weather talk, yes. So for those of you listening to the rebroadcast of this, which is usually most people watch it afterwards, giant snowstorm sweeping the United States from the majority of the country from like the Midwest on is getting hammered by a giant snowstorm, which, before we get to your book and you reading a passage from your book, I posted a picture of Patty outdoor. By the way, Patty, every once in a while people go, hey, did Pat and Patricia Heaton, I call her Patty. I've called her Pat occasionally, and she gives me the stink eye. She doesn't grab me by the throat and say, please don't ever call me that. But she says, you're the only one that can call me Pat. So I'm like, I won't say it again. Sorry. Point made. I posted a picture of just a formality, the outdoor scene with the snow where the cop cars pull up. Mm-hmm. And do you remember, what is it? Because I posted pictures, and there's people with breathing masks, and it's way before COVID. Do you remember anything specific about that shoot?
Probably because the fake snow we used to use sometimes was actually paper, like pulpy, dry paper. I don't know if pulpy and dry are contradictory, but
they're in the English language, though.
But I think, some people say, oh, I'm breathing in the paper. So, okay, put a particle mask on, be in between takes or something, but they're not wearing it in the shot, are they?
No, it's not visible. When I post the picture of Patty, and she looks beautiful as usual, and she's wearing her winter coat, and she's looking right at the camera, and I actually am using the flash, and in the background you see the snow, but there's a guy with a fire extinguisher wearing shorts. So you're like, and then there's people way in the distance wearing breathing masks. So it
That's my guess. That's the only reason I could think of, so they wouldn't inhale the paper particles.
Okay, but we weren't using asbestos flakes. It was just, you'd rather not.
Whatever they had laying around. No.
Yeah.
We didn't. And then they changed to soap bubbles later on, which is much better, reads better on camera, falls lighter like snow.
Okay, so it's funny because these little inside, there's a lot of questions about what did they spray Marie with? And it was this, do you know? I mean, I know.
It was some food-based.
It's a children's paint, according to Rhonda.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, one is a Japanese dish, and one is the paint. It's like tempera. One is tempura, is I think a delicious dish. Tempera paint or whatever. It's a children's paint, and they thinned it out a little bit, which I found in my basement. The original label from that paint from that episode, which I'll have to bring on. All right, Ken. I'm looking now. Let me just see if there's any question before we get into your book. So we can't get it yet.
Not yet. We're looking for a publisher. So if any of your viewers out there have a connection to publishers, send them a ping to you.
Oh yeah. So yeah, send it to me. So we have a question from YouTube, which is, what was the most expensive episode? You don't have to answer that immediately because I'll stay on me for a second. What was the most expensive episode? Where are you guys? We're in our new studio space, our ELR 360 Live studio space, which is still a work in process, but you can see the canister. You'll see it over my shoulder, and there is a treat in there. Now, Ken, you don't know this, I don't think, but Jeremy Stevens initiated a raging debate of what is better, Oreo or Hydrox, and he said Hydrox is better. So Phil said, well, let's have a cookie. There's only one way to settle this fight. So we had a cookie taste in the writer's room, and I've continued that. Rhonda sent me the canister to keep for a week 2 years ago, and so I take out of the canister a treat, and I think we were sent a treat this week. We'll get it. We'll get it after you read your passage, and then you have to give a rating of 0 to 10. There's no pressure, and it's always delicious, except for my cousin picked out a chocolate-covered licorice or something that was not delicious. It took me by surprise. So, Ken, off the top of your head, the most expensive episode?
It's got to be Italy. Those two, it's got to
And you went to Italy?
Twice. We had to go there to scout, which is a whole nother chapter of the book that I won't read today. Going to Italy with Phil was a treat. And then we went back, and I think we brought 39 people with us to shoot for 6 days.
And that was we'll have you back and we'll talk just about Italy.
It was wonderful.
Let's get to your book, Ken, because we're gonna run out of time. I can tell. So we're back on me. If you want to stay on me, Matt, we're good for a second. So How long is this passage? Because reading can be, let me see.
It's probably 7 or 8 minutes.
Oh, that's quite a,
Is that too much?
I don't know. Let's see. Does the audience? It's not too much for this audience, et cetera. But sometimes reading is a very static feeling thing.
Do you want me to act it out?
Act it out, or maybe
Okay.
I will say, so this is obscure, but I saw the drummer for the Doors, John Densmore, and I saw him at a live speech, and he read from his book, and I remember just thinking, oh, interesting, because I'm here to hear him. But after a while, I was like, oh, I want you to tell more stories. So let's play it by ear, but read.
I'll
just
cut
read.
it down. I'll stop it.
You don't have to. Let me see if there's any. Hold on. Let me see this.
Because I think some of this stuff the audience probably does not know.
Oh no, nothing. They won't know anything. I'm saying you're very interesting. I would love for you to read the entire chapter at some point. But
Okay,
let's
sure.
Okay, so let me just catch up on this, and then we will, just so everybody knows, Tom Caltabiano here. I'm sitting with Kenneth Ornstein. He was the unit production manager on Never Was Raymond, which means he handled a whole tons of the behind the scenes stuff and made stuff that we filmed happen without any problems. That was his job, to make sure that nothing bad happened or that everything was able to be executed. He wrote a book that he is not published yet, but he will be publishing. He has a very long storied career, including working with Woody Allen, and you worked on Big, right? You've done some very big things besides.
Yes.
So I'm very respectful of the breadth of your history, but we only have 4.5 hours left to hear you.
All right, well, this is about the last season of Raymond. So, after 8 seasons, Phil and Ray let CBS know the 9th would be the last. It was a rare decision creators of a show get to make on their own. They had told all the stories worth telling, stretched the characters as far as they could, and felt the rare satisfaction of leaving while the audience still wanted more. Phil felt it was better to leave the stage before you're asked. Word quickly spread through the staff and crew and the cast that the 9th would be the last. We knew it would end someday, but that didn't make it any easier. Those of us who'd been around long enough understood how rare this kind of run really was. We reminded the younger staff not to take it for granted. This was the exception, not the rule. What caught us off guard was learning it would only be 16 episodes instead of the normal 20 plus. Phil knew this would leave the crew with several months less pay and convinced CBS to pay everyone for 22 episodes. The network's generous gesture would have never happened if Phil didn't go to bat for the staff and crew. He believed it's nice to be important, but more important to be nice. As we made our way through the final season, it felt very much like senior year of high school. We had spent years together working towards a common goal. We made friends and memories, and soon we go our separate ways. From marriages to births and deaths, all the major life stages had touched someone in the Raymond family during its run. Many of us had been there from the beginning when Phil had dubbed it his little wooden show. Adding to the reminiscent of high school were 2 gifts we received. The first was a copy of Everybody Loves Raymond, Our Family Album. This beautiful coffee table book, written by Ray and Phil, is filled with stories, interviews, episode descriptions, and wonderful behind-the-scene photographs taken by writer-producer Tom Caltabiano. This pseudo yearbook served as a space to collect signatures and notes from our classmates. The second gift came from Ray and spoke volumes about his gratitude and generosity. Everyone was given a white gold ring with a solitaire diamond set in black onyx, surrounded by the engraved words, "Everybody Loves Raymond." On one side were the numerals 210, indicating the total number of episodes produced. On the other, indicating the years in production was 1996 to 2005. On the underside of the ring, Ray included a personalized inscription. Inside each box was a note, "Thanks for 9 winning seasons. We were a great team." I could keep going.
Keep going. Well, let me see if there's any questions to break it up. That's awesome. That's very well written, Ken. Who read it? Who wrote it? Because it's really well
AI
written.
is wonderful. Do you know they can help you? No.
Let me see. Okay, these are questions about wardrobe.
What
Let me
I'm wearing?
see.
What you're-
No, about the. By the way, we're wearing the same colors.
that's what the
I mean,
memo
literally,
said.
but I very seldom wear gray pants, and
Yes,
this is
the uniform.
yeah, this is exciting. We've piqued interest with the Hydrox talk. Yeah, that's not long. That's not too long at all. Yeah, Donnell, I don't want to do a disservice to Ken. That was phenomenally interesting and really, really well framed.
Thank you.
I'm super impressed. Yes. Okay. So continue.
Okay. On the evening of our final show, the studio audience was buzzing with energy and excitement. Friends and relatives flew in from all over the country to be part of the celebration. It was going to be a bittersweet evening. Despite the melancholy, we had one more show to produce and we were not going to let up on the gas. There was just one tiny problem. Patty Heaton began to lose her voice early in the rehearsal week. We were mildly concerned but forged ahead, but by Wednesday, she could barely whisper. After several doctor's visits, Patty was advised to speak as little as possible, and with some luck and lots of hot tea, she'd be able to perform on Friday. We went ahead with plans to shoot the episode right up to showtime, but Patty's voice had not returned. It was obvious the show would not go on, but someone needed to tell the waiting audience. Part of Ray's pre-show routine was to greet the audience. It was always fun to listen to a bit of his stand-up. But this time, instead of jokes, he had to tell the audience we were not going to be able to shoot the show. At first, they thought he was just doing a bit, but they quickly realized he was serious. It was sad watching them shuffle out of the studio, unsure when we would be able to resume filming. Knowing that we needed to deliver the final episode to the network, Phil, Lisa, Ray, and I huddled in the makeup room to come up with a plan. Do you have that picture you can punch up? You know, that great picture that you took?
Inside the makeup room?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite photos.
Yeah, so for everybody, can I punch it up? Not
Okay.
yeah, not that quickly. So I will post it though after of your thing, but I will describe it to you. I will describe it to the audience real quickly. It's a panoramic black and white film shot inside of the Everett Brothers Raymond makeup room, and what we have just determined is we can't go on with the show. So there was so much buildup. It was impossible. So right now, if I went back then and I said to Ken the day before the finale, I said, Ken, what if we postpone the shoot? Ken would be like, are you like it's incomprehensible. And so sure enough, Patty can't speak and we're in there and I take this photo and you see Ken. So I forget if you have your finger up or not. Okay, how's that for remembering a photo?
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do, not me, I'm just taking the photo. So Ken, by the way, this is where you earn your living as a unit production manager and as a line producer, because when everything is smooth and it's like, we'll be shooting in 2 weeks. Okay, great. Any big changes? Nope. We have so much press here and we have to postpone the show and figure out what we're going to do. Good luck, Ken. And so that's what you see in this photo is Ken is like this. Lisa's like this. Patty is slumped over on the chair, so despondent. Doris has her fingers like this on her face, and Phil has his hand like so there's a couple in that series. It's just trying to solve the problem.
And Ray's there too. Like it's almost like Ray and Phil and Ray and Lisa and I were all talking at the same time. It seemed like we were all trying to make a point, and Phil's in the middle, just like what, and Patty's just.
Patty despondent. Yeah. Then you guys decide, okay, we'll tell the audience that we have no choice, because you hear Ray goes, try and say something. It was just a few minutes, Ray. And Ray's like, maybe she can do it. And you hear Rory go, yeah, oh, okay, yes, she can do it. You can't even hear her. And it's going to be forever locked in, on celluloid. And so then the decision is made. We have to go out and tell the audience we're postponing. And there's a sense of relief. And the next frame is Patty with a kind of a smile, like this relief of like, okay, we've gotten past this, which I love, because it's still, you guys still have a huge problem. You guys have to figure out when do we schedule it?
That's
and,
right.
and the stage is no longer ours in 2 days. There's all kinds of things. We have a wrap party coming in 2 days, and the wrap party, I feel bad when I have a guest and I explain it. I mean, but the wrap party is such a big event and it's gigantic. And they're using my photo. So this is for my own ego is great. They took all of my They took a lot of my photos. The entire thing is my photos. The decoration is my photos. And when I say my photos, 8 by 20 feet wide, blowing up my photos in a giant space in 2 days. We're not going to film the finale. So the decision was made, okay, let's have the wrap party. Let's have the big, I'll never see you again. And it was so good working with you, Ken. Or I'll see you the next day. So they go ahead with that wrap party. But now, by the way, we can go back to our reading of the tome.
Well, I could jump right to the wrap party part. Let's see.
Read as well. Let's check the audience. Let's check the pulse of the audience.
That's right.
I would love to hear about the production and working with Tom Hanks on Big. Oh, that's the second visit. Yeah. Were Hank and Pat quirks like the muffin observation the secret smoking inspired by real life lows of the show's creator, Phil and Ray? Ray, that was a Tucker Cawley script. It was executive at CBS. Her father had never had a muffin, never had a cookie, never had popcorn. So we incorporated that into Hank's character traits. The smoking thing, we'll have to ask Tucker, but it was just a perfect contrast to Pat's character. So let me just see. I just noticed you all are wearing matching clothes. The two of you look like you're waiting for an audition for the Moomin Chance. Okay. Donnell.
Wasn't that one of Lou Schneider's callbacks all the time?
Probably. Donnell, you're not supposed to be funnier than the people on camera, okay? So just take a lesson from that. I don't think I've worn gray pants in 2 years, so this is a coincidence. I'll change for our next portion.
Woman shots.
Yeah. How suspenseful that you didn't know when you were coming back. Yes, absolutely. So, do you have your ring? Can you show your ring? How special, Kristen? Kristen went to the reunion special. Of course, you have your ring still.
Oh, it's sitting right on my bookshelf.
Okay, I have mine. I just have to find it. I know. I'll wear it one day. I'm not a jewelry wearer. I had the book here that my husband and son bought me years ago. Unfortunately, we thought we had some issues down the basement, and all my books, including ELR, were thrown out. Now on eBay, it's going for $100 or more. Deb, I can sell it to you for $95. I think you can get it cheaper. I think you should be able to find it cheaper, maybe not a hard thing. Well, Hydrox does sound like a laundry detergent, so hydrochloride isn't too far off. Yeah, Annabelle, okay. That's very funny. Okay, I'm not saying okay to you. I'm saying okay. Hi, Lynn. My favorite scene, the muffin scene, just a great scene with all the actors. Yes. Back to Ken's book.
Oh. When it came to parties, HBO had always planned the best, most elaborate, and our finale was going to be a doozy. We were all looking forward to eating, drinking, and watching the many gag reels filled with bloopers and funny sketches Ray and the staff put together. The large party space at Hollywood and Highland was the spot they selected. Of course, without the finale, there was nothing to celebrate. I wasn't planning on attending, but since the venue was on our way home, Amy and I stopped by. Stepping inside, it felt more like a wake than a celebration. Immediately, I was approached by several crew members eager to know when we would be filming the final episode. I had nothing to report as everything hinged on Patty's recovery. 8 days after the postponement, on a rare Saturday, we shot the final episode of the series. Instead of a big blowout wrap party with friends and family, our celebration was consistent with the show's humble foundation as a traditional family sitcom. Pardon me. With tears of both joy and sadness, the cast and crew celebrated together for the last time on stage 5. Of course, the food was delicious.
Nice. So, awesome, Ken. Now, did you skipped some of that, right? Or no? That was the entire That was the entire Raymond passage.
That was it.
Okay, phenomenal. So let me just say great to hear someone else's perspective. 100% accurate and great framing of the like a high school reunion, high school yearbook, etc. So the significance of that final wrap party on stage was this. for those of you who are lucky enough to go to a wrap party, what often happens is it's at a public space. And sorry, when I say a public space, the wrap party that he's talking about, where we know we have to go back and shoot again, which the upside, folks, of that final wrap party of the Patty losing her voice is I had an extra 8 days to shoot about 3,000 more photos. So that panoramic black and white film camera I had gotten that day. And so I only had 1 day to shoot. Now I had 8 more days to capture so many images. And for us, it was like losing your family. All of a sudden, what Ken so eloquently put, you're walking away from people that you really enjoy spending time with, because it's so rare in Hollywood. You're also making a very good living, so your paycheck is going away, and now you're thrown back into the cruel, cold world. So we had 8 more days, thanks to Patty losing her voice, which was phenomenal. But when you have a wrap party for any of these big shows, there's always executives who get their niece in, and this way. So when we would go to any of our wrap parties, I could look, obviously I know Ken very well, but I'd be like, Ken, do you know who that person is? Nope, never saw him in my life. So there'd probably be like 40, 50 people you've never seen in your life at your wrap party. Because the final wrap party was on stage 5, there was nobody but people that worked on the show. And so it was a phenomenal, heartfelt, speeches and crying and all that stuff. But then CBS said, well, we're not going to let this go to waste. We're going to have it's about to end wrap party. So at the Santa Monica Barker hangar, they reassembled Frank and Marie's kitchen. And we
forgot about that.
Yes, that has to go now in the book. That's the second revision. So on May 16th, 2005 was the final airing of the episode. Before then, CBS said, we're going to have a big blowout wrap party again for press. So there was what's known as a step and repeat, which is the CBS logo and Everett Raymond and HBO and everybody walks the red carpet and they smile and take pictures. So now we are able to see everybody again. And for those of you that were lucky enough to watch the 30th reunion special, that was the next time that the most of us were in the same room. Those who are still with us. So it was like a big family reunion again. Now, I got to ask you, Ken, because I was on the floor taking photos, and I just found a video, a friend of mine took a video of me on stage, and you see, I'll post it, of me, I'm taking pictures of of Patty and Brad talking on the couch, and then I get up, because they're about to roll, and I walk, and then Monica comes up and gives me a big hug, and then I walk out of frame. I was on the floor the entire time. There was a separate holding area. That sounds a little like cattle, but there's a separate stage with food, etc., where everybody was hanging out watching. I almost didn't go back there for 6 minutes till the very end. So for you, there had to be people you have not seen in 20 years.
Yeah, and didn't recognize it. It was like it was a reunion. It was like going to your high school reunion, and I'm like, oh my God. Or there were some people I had no idea. I said, who's that? And I go, oh, that's Adam. I go, oh yeah, I remember Adam.
Adam, sorry, just for people, because they follow me. In the wedding episode, I play a photographer. Adam, who he's talking about, was a production assistant who had to play a video camera operator. And Adam was a really nice guy, but he had gotten into a fight like a few days before, and he had a black eye. And by the way, I think his brother played professional football. Adam's not a small guy.
Yes, that's right, he did.
Yeah. So there are people that Ken are talking about, hopefully I will always recognize Ken, and there's people, but there are people that there was a PA, production assistant, who I was walking down the street in Manhattan, and I'm like, hey, Randall, and he's a guy that was a PA on our show for 2 years. So that's why. So Ken is forgiven for that, because Adam was a guy that was on the show. I thought you were going to say, who's that? And I'd have to say, that's Ray Romano. He was the star of the show. He has a beard now.
Yeah, that reunion was so special in so many ways. But what Donna Stamps and LJ and Sharon did by recreating that set, I couldn't believe it. I mean, everybody had the same experience. When we stepped on there, we got goosebumps. I teared up instantly. Yeah, I'm getting goosebumps now thinking about it.
Well, it's cold in here. Yeah.
And then to see Madeline and Sullivan,
Yeah,
because on that set, they were always little kids.
right.
Now they're adults.
34,
Wait,
yeah.
the brain was not computing that. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah. So I think and I've tried to explain it to people, when I walked on the set with Rory, and it was, I was so overwhelmed with emotion, and I don't know, because you're still had to be on it for the final, because clearly you're going to have to come back, because we're going to run out of time, because we still have to taste something on camera. When the finale happened, right? I'm there. I have 9 cameras around my neck. And by the way, have you taken a drink from your AIS mug, Ken? So
I
I have to take a.
I have. Do I have to clean it before I leave?
No. You don't. By the way, Phil was so AIS is an expression that from an episode, as we all know. I was taking pictures, and I remember the finales. We're filming the finale, and I'm sitting on the edge of the couch, of Ray and Deborah's couch, and Patty comes over and sits next to me, and I instantly start tearing up. Like I can't, and I'm just like, what? The audience is right there, and it was just such an overwhelming emotion, because it's such a positive setting. We all have jobs where you're like, I never want to think about those people again. I can't wait to get far enough away from these people. It'll be in your book, I'm sure. But this was like really nothing but positive in every way.
And it all stemmed from the top. I mean, it was like, Ray, from what I observed, was usually one of the first people in the office and one of the last people out of the office. If he wasn't in the writer's room, he was on stage or editing, and it was amazing, the work ethic, and that's why we told the PAs, this is not normal. You should not take this for granted. This is the best show you'll ever work on.
Yeah, and that is well, we have to get to tasting. The show I worked on afterwards, no fault, but it was really a tough show, because I was coming from Raymond, and I was trying so hard, and everyone's like, Tom, let it go. It's going. The show is not going to go. All right, Ken, I'm going to talk a little bit, because I have to go over here and get this canister where there's a treat, but I need Matt to swing the camera to you. So for Instagram, it's not. When is your what? How many pages is your book? Are you done with your book?
Yeah, we're just going through it and fine tuning it, but it's about 89,000 words. That's how books are, which comes out to about 350 pages, not including photographs.
Oh boy! If you need photographs,
I know that's. Why do you think I'm here?
Oh, the price is right, though.
Does it have a working title?
It does. It's called "Make One Mistake at a Time."
That is a great title.
Thank you.
Yeah, make one mistake at a time. All right, here I am holding the canister. So just when I was referring before that nobody knows everything about the show, Rhonda is the one that had to source the canister. This is one of the few that were made. Some things only had one. The toaster, apparently, the engraved toaster, there was only one in existence. And we know from props, because I've explained this to people, if you're filming a show and you know that you're burning $1 million to make that show, so if Ken goes, hey, do you know why we're delayed? And someone says, yeah, we only got one of that item and we can't find it. It would be like, can we get 2 next time? Also, you're fired, but can we get 2? Hey, your replacement will have 2 next time. So from the outside, we go, oh, is that expensive? It's like, here's what's really expensive. We have to wait around while they're trying to find another thing. So that's why wardrobe usually had a couple of the things. A lot of stuff is don't let a disaster happen, right? So off of your mistakes thing. Okay, so here's the canister. Let's see. By the way, have you held the canister? Feel the weight of that canister. That is substantial.
Is that the treat inside, or is that?
No, that's the actual. No, the treat inside. Hopefully,
I've never touched the canister.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Wow, I kind of like it.
Yeah. No,
Do I have
don't
to
get
give it
attached
back?
to it. Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's what Rhonda said. Just send it back to me. I'm like, okay. She doesn't know where I am. All right. So here, this was sent to us. Let me see. I don't know. Can you zoom in on that, Matt? What is that, a 16 to 35?
Yeah, we're in all the way now.
You're in all the way.
Oh, the loos. Those are fantastic.
I've never heard of these.
Oh my God.
Big
Little schoolboys? Fantastic.
Never heard of it. So here,
Shortbread
I don't
with
wanna block-
chocolate.
I don't want to block Ken.
Amazing.
You're good. Okay. So we're going to try this, Ken. This was sent by Janet to, I feel bad because, there's a certain amount of privacy that you want when you send something, because I don't want her to be someone saying, can you send me them also? Okay, so this is, what is it? So why do you guys know this? And I grew up in New Jersey.
They have it there.
And where did you grew up in, not in Manhattan, though?
In New Jersey.
Where in New Jersey?
Freehold.
In Freehold,
Old 7728.
Long Branch.
Long Branch, Monmouth County.
Okay, so we're talking to Matt off camera, just so you guys know, okay?
Just say it like that.
Yeah, so we're all, so we're all from New Jersey here right now. Wow, Freehold,
And we
okay.
all dress the same.
This is crazy. Okay, so here, as my guest,
Oh,
you take one
These are
first.
so good.
How have I not seen these?
I don't know.
Oh, there's a different figure, right?
They're little schoolboys.
Right, but it's just upside down. Okay.
Well-
All right, so I'm gonna taste it. Now, Phil has a food show, and people have fallen in love with Phil. So, and his cup, I don't have his mug here, but it says, "Life is short, talk with your mouth full." So, okay, hold on.
Do you approve?
Well, it's phenomenal, but wow. Would you like another one? To double your, in case you're not sure.
No, those are delicious. I haven't had those in years. They go down really easy.
That is phenomenal. How have I never tasted these before or heard of them?
Thank you to who? Who sent this?
Janet Dwyer.
Thanks,
I think
Janet Dwyer.
Janet Dwyer Dawson, yeah. She wrote a delightful letter. I don't have the letter here. I'd have to run to my office and get it. But a very, very sweet
Ew.
letter about our community and how nice it is here. I'm going to have another one. Now, Ken, you have to give a rating of, you can give a decimal point, but 0 to 10. I've never given a 10.
Mm-hmm.
I've almost never given a 9. I don't think I've given a 9. I've also never given like a 5, although maybe
So basically, you're
Charlie
telling me
Cohen.
what I should rate it.
No, I'm just telling you, you can rate whatever you want. You can say 11. This is really phenomenal.
Well, I would say that this has to be 8.9. I don't get many
Say-
treats, Tom. You have to understand.
So,
Big day in my house is graham crackers.
oh, wow, okay.
So this is an upgrade.
Okay. So you're a little like a, prisoner of war who's like, oh my gosh, an orange.
Well,
I'm gonna give this a 9. What did you give it?
8.9.
No, I'm gonna give this a 9.
Well,
This is
so you went one better than me.
well, if you look at it that way,
Very
yeah.
competitive.
So, is it dark chocolate?
No, it's milk chocolate.
They have them in dark chocolate, but they're better.
I think it's milk chocolate.
I think what makes it so good is the underlying cookie
Yes.
or biscuit is
Yes.
very uniquely flavorful.
They're made in France. Yeah.
Yes. The yum is to coach me.
But through East Hanover, New
New
Jersey.
Jersey. Well, East Hanover is, that's Route 10 down there, Route 10. All right, Ken, let's do some final questions. So we've ignored questions. So this is delicious, everybody. Never seen it. Growing up in New Jersey, I've never seen it.
You should
Did you
get them
remember
to
it in New
sponsor
Jersey?
the show.
Sure, they
No,
could.
my mother didn't buy that stuff.
No.
That's why I only eat graham crackers now.
Okay, let me scroll down a little bit here. I don't think you've done a 9 before. Yes. Oh, Janet Dawson Dwyer. I had your name. I just was working, with transposition, it's called. I don't know that I have given a 9 before. That was really good. Ken, with your book coming out, will there be photos? Will Tom be your photographer as well? Well, Ken should have been nicer to me in 2003. Monmouth County Unity. My sister-in-law lives there. Wow. Okay. So a lot of Jersey. Sorry about that. Okay. So Karen Kraft, Jersey.
What exit?
Very funny. Kathy Pine. Those are great. They come in dark and milk chocolate. Thank you, Kathy. Donnell. I used to get them at Walgreens. Oh, how have I not seen? Yes. The finale was so touching, so funny, and so heartwarming. Thanks for all the joy that you our producers. Yes. Those are amazing. Wow. I guess I've missed out on these things for a while. Oh, I'm probably out of the mic range here, or less or so. Okay, so does Kenneth, do you have a website?
I am at Ken O Comedy on Instagram.
Okay, so you've just started doing stand-up comedy, correct?
I did. I figured if you and Ray could do it, how hard could it be?
Touche. Bravo, as we would say. There was that's an inside reference. We used to watch People's Court every once in a while with Mayor Koch in the writer's room. Mayor Koch wasn't in the writer's room, but he'd watch People's Court. And there was a guy named Colt DuPont. I wish someone could find this clip. And in the writer's room, this guy says something to Mayor Koch, and he basically completely disses this guy named Colt DuPont. And I think he had a bad hairpiece on too, Colt DuPont. And he goes, after he's been completely put in his place by Mayor Koch, he goes, bravo. And so when I'm getting insulted on the writer's room exchange, text exchange, which Raymond Writer's Room is very active in texting. So if Scro gets me with a good one, I'll write bravo, exclamation point, and we know what that means. So Ken O Comedy?
At Ken O Comedy.
On Instagram?
On Instagram.
Okay. But when your book actually comes out, you'll come back on here.
Absolutely.
And we have more to talk. We have more to talk about.
There's a whole section of Raymond.
Okay.
I could have probably written a whole book about Raymond.
By the way, there is an interest. So here, I will say, there's two sides of the coin, how people look at this. I was telling someone who might have been an accountant, I said, oh, fans that I'm doing this. And they're like, wow, these people need to get a life. And I'm like, no, that's not the right. No, because there's this huge community of I Love Lucy and Seinfeld, and hit sitcoms are a comfort thing in people's lives. And you're in the industry. They ain't coming around anymore. There's no 200 episodes of any television show like Raymond. It's not going to happen. So in 2005, I couldn't have said that. I would have been like, Ken, there's probably going to be another big hit show. Hopefully we're working on it. But now I'm going to be like, there's going to be another hit show that does 26 episodes total, 35 episodes total, but not something that's going to do 200, etc. So the interest level, as we learned, and I will tell you in another thing, that reunion special, CBS didn't want to do it. It was 5 years in the making. Then they said, we'll do it for 60 minutes. Phil was like, it should be 2 hours. And they're like, well, 60 minutes. It airs. It's the highest special in all of network TV for the year. And then the CBS calls up and says, hey, the next day, can you add another 30 minutes? Because we're going to air it in 4 days again. So the producer says yes at first, because he's a good producer. And then he goes, well, it's Thanksgiving week. I'd also have to add 30 minutes, color correct, sound in over Thanksgiving. So no, we can't do it. And they said, well, give us a whole nother new hour. So this perception from CBS, and thank God CBS did it, but the love from the fans of this show, which is predictable, and the characters, and you laugh, it's unprecedented in history where you have this. So the ancient history where you go like, yeah, do I really want to talk about Raymond again? Trust me, just that beautifully written passage.
Oh, thanks.
There is an interest. Okay. When a show ends, it's like when you're tired. Many felt that way, especially, yes, when you're tired. Absolutely, Deb. Okay, final things before we say goodbye. I enjoy hearing the reference to the exits. That's very good. Got you on Instagram. Love to see if you come to New York City. Don't invite Ken anywhere. Ryan, autocorrect. Sorry, no problem. Thanks, Ken and Tom. Good night. Good insight into the show. More than ever. Don't forget to find some humor and laughter in your daily life. Yes, absolutely. Sorry, I don't know. We have a pet fly here, but I don't know why he's attracted to you. Yes. I will post, yes, everybody, I posted my mailing address. There's questions about that. You don't have to mail me anything, but if there's a special snack you want me to try, I'm happy to try it, but you don't have to at all. All right, Ken, we'll hear from you about when your book comes out. Please come back.
Thank you. I'd love to.
Yeah, come back, because we haven't touched on, there's tons of stuff to touch on.
I know.
Frank falls down the steps, going through the house. Where's the snow made? How we did where's the snow made? We had a snow day episode. We have to hear about Italy. We can do an entire episode, you talking about Italy.
Yeah.
There's many things. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a safe week. Good luck out there to our all of our people who are snowed in. and everybody around the world. Thank you, and see you next week. Thank you, Ken. Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Yes, of course, of course.